Now, this is a matchup I've been wanting to do since the conception of this video series, to take one album, pit it against another album, and go song by song, comparing them, choosing only one to continue on to our playlist. Today we'll be pitting the full-length debuts of Escape the Fate against Ronnie's second successful project, Falling in Reverse's The Drug in Me Is You. Which album shows off Ronnie's creativity, his voice, and which album has the most to say? Let's start right with our number one song from Dying Is Your Latest Fashion, The Webs We Weave. Escape the Fate was incredibly important to the Warped Tour scene. They brought in those metal influences. They're kind of that like in between heavy, dark metal, maybe you're more heavy metal, and then also you're kind of post-hardcore, screaming, intense, breakdown sort of metal, and it's that meshing of the two. They could kind of slide into that Guns N' Roses crowd, that rocker crowd, but then also slide into the scene crowd. Definitely this one gives you a good riff to grab onto right away. It sounds more like a screamo or an emo band at the time, but then Ronnie's voice comes in and he has a singing quality that isn't like strong. It's not like his voice impresses you, but it does grab you. What I always appreciate about Ronnie though is his energy, his effort. He always gives every song 100%, and you can feel it being strung through his voice. And while it may get squeaky or it may get imperfect in parts, I think that quality to it adds this DIY roughness that makes the music relatable. The life you lead has drowned in your shame. Someone's being shameful, lies, webs, we're weaving them, we're crafting them to be popular, to be celebrities. Ronnie, he's walking on the edge. That's how he stays alive. But he needs a fix. The pills I have to take, it helps me live a lie that blinds all of my mistakes. Consumption has been a part of the genre, the rock genre, since its fucking creation. When I was young, I always just took it as like aesthetics of the scene. Like, yeah, they do drugs, they party, but like they're musicians. They're gonna tour, they keep their shit together. Not true. You grow up to learn that almost all your heroes are fucking burnouts and drug addicts. Doesn't make them bad people, doesn't make the music any less good. It's just strange to hear how Ronnie talks about consumption at this point. This paranoia has haunted me like a ghost. Hits you right here. Ronnie isn't a great lyricist. He's not like a mind-blowing, symbolic, metaphorical, poetic writer, but he does know how to craft fucking lines that are easy to obtain, and they fucking hit you right here. It's under 3 minutes. It's a good opener. How does Falling in Reverse choose to open their album?
I was lost, now I'm found. I'm sustained by the sound of the angels singing me to sleep.
Falling Reverse had sort of escaped my purview of the scene. By 2011, I was getting into ska and punk rock. I didn't want to listen to anything without horns in it. So this album completely just escaped me at that point, and I've kind of come around to it. I've come around to some of the songs, especially like the singles off this album. So I'm trying to take this in with fresh eyes. I'm trying to take these songs in as they are the first time I have listened to them, because for many of these songs, this is the first time I've ever heard these. And Raised by Wolves starts us off on a very different tone, a very different note than Escape the Fate. It feels a little more condensed, like Ronnie's trying to narrow the focus, narrow the vignette on him. And this song is a little petty, I feel, especially with the line, "This war is mine," which, if you don't know, was the title of the first Escape the Fate record after Ronnie was kicked out of the band. So this sort of feels like a little slight at them, even though the band has made up since then, and I believe they're all on good terms now. I think they even tour together. I don't know if the fan base was very strong, Team Ronnie or Team Escape the Fate. I don't really care. Ronnie seems to feel like he's been called out, like there is a war. I will never spill my blood for you. You have let me down one too many times. Some way, somehow, we've fallen out, caught in between my enemies. No way out now, I won't go back down. I draw the line at you and me. You're what I started, now disregarded. One day they'll see it was always me. I do appreciate that Ronnie elaborates. He writes a lot. I get kind of bored or tired of bands that sort of write like 3 lines for a song and they're like, yeah, that gives you the idea what we're singing about, so let's just repeat it. We start off with like very condensed guitar picking, making it feel very personal and small, and then we kind of open up into the chorus. I like the tight little dancey beat that comes in, electronic sounds that you didn't really hear on Dying Is Our Latest Fashion, mostly because that wasn't really part of the scene yet. That didn't come until the later half of that decade. This album isn't fully gonna play by the rules, and now I must choose one of these 2 songs to place on our playlist. It's a good opener with some dancing moments in it, but I just find that All the Webs We Weave has the stronger guitar part. It's a stronger opener, has better lyrics and themes to it, while also displaying Ronnie's vocal qualities a little better than what Raised by Wolves does. So I'm gonna have to give the first slot on our playlist to Escape the Fate, but we're not done yet. We have 10 more to go, baby. What a strong second offering. That title speaks pretty true to the band. They're a big, bombastic, arena rock type band. He wants to be on stage singing to a crowd that are all pouring their hearts out in the song just as much as he is, and we're all rising as one, becoming a rock god. A lot of imagery of death, a lot of imagery of ghosts being haunted. This is our second song in a row, and this whole song is talking about people who died, about my casket, keep my casket closed. I don't know if this is a real situation, if there was actually a car crash, if he's saying when I go out, I want to just drive my car as fast as it can go and have it just burst into flames as I impel myself into a tree. I don't know, maybe that's what Ronnie's saying. If we look at the first line, I had a plan to kill you all along. That evidence was hidden in this song. Not very smart. If you're gonna murder someone, don't tell how you do it. May seem kind of sus if you are prone to a violent behavior. He killed this person. The evidence was hidden in the song. He was a ghost, though. I was there at the scene. As the Empress rise, my hands smelled like gasoline. Does he die in the fire as well? You're the only one that wore your seatbelt. We're the only ones that cried, being over dramatic, being over sentimental, over a woman that they killed themselves. Catastrophic accidents. You're the only one that died. I guess murdering the person you care about would make you kind of weird afterwards. That's valid. The thing about Ronnie Radcliffe album is you never know what the fuck you're gonna get. He does what he wants, whatever he feels, whatever calls him, whatever burns inside his soul that he feels must be recorded onto the track and given to the people of the world. Sometimes it's metal, sometimes it's pop, sometimes it's a trap or rap beat. Sometimes it's a unironic, straight up cover of Gangster's Paradise. You never fucking know. Tragic Magic starts with Ronnie saying he's back. You would think the first song would be the grand declaration of being back in the music scene, but the first song was, I'm raised by wolves. I won't be like you. I'm not gonna spill my blood for you. I'm different. I'm back. I've been to therapy. You may have kicked me out, but I'm the king of the music scene, baby. That's why they call me. Is Ronnie the king of the music scene? Was he the king of the music scene in 2011? It seems a little weird, a little petty to just name yourself that. But that's part of the experience. That's part of the ego. You don't go to see a personality and then get mad when the personality is on display. I almost died. I overdosed. I did not know. Did I provoke this evil ghost? What is with Ronnie and ghosts? Is he a ghost hunter? Does he have a paranormal business that I don't know about? I've spoken before on how this glorification of tragedy, how this needing to be in a constant state of sorrow and sadness, to be breaking down in my life at all times so I can write art. My tragedy is your catchy little song. You're such a dumb fuck. You need to shut up. You bring a picture of me every time you get your hair cut. This song sounded really petty, but not in a fun way for me. It just felt a little fluctuating, you know what I mean? I must choose the better song, the heavier song, the song that makes me want to fucking just start throwing elbows, you know? Boop. This was the one that got them noticed, right? On MySpace, it was Situations, and then I feel like the Guillotine was the second most popular song. If you're a metalhead, if you were a boy, then the Guillotine was your favorite song. But if you were a girl, you like Situations because you like how sexy Ronnie is. Ronnie is fucking the microphone in this one. It doesn't let up. It starts from second one fucking heavy and fast, and the guitar picking and everything just feels like a flight just flowing through to the end. Never really been a fan of the music video where they go to school. They're old men in school and they're like talking about how horny they are. Weird choice for that music video. I touched her, ooh, she touched my it was the craziest thing. The lyrics read like a fucking child wrote them. A certain girl, she took my hand, ran it up her thigh. She licked her lips and pulled my hair. I fell in love for a night. Hate to love. So they don't want to fall in love. They don't want to date. They just want to fuck. And those are the situations. He's saying whatever situations, they're irrelevant now. She loves the way I tease. I love the way that she breathes. And that's all we need, baby. We'll fuck. Higher heels and lipstick napkins. Dying is your latest fashion. It's so interesting, the contrast of how we speak about women liars, how they're deceivers, and how that is always paired with or contrasted with imageries of fakeness. You wear lipstick, you're fake, therefore you are a fake person. If you're fake on the outside, you are thus fake on the inside. It's a classic. Don't get me wrong, I'll sing along to it any day, but do I go to it when I want to hear Escape the Fate? Not really. Say what you will about Ronnie, and there is plenty to say about the man, but he does always get a good team together. He gets good people to surround himself with. The musicianship in Escape the Fate and both Falling in Reverse is much higher and better quality than half the other bands in the fucking scene. And the production on it, the production is just, bass is thick and chunky without overpowering the kick drum, and the guitars are just distorted enough to give it heaviness, but without being just a fucking mess. This is the first Falling in Reverse song that feels like a reason to exist. Like, this is the band, this is what they're bringing, this is a different dynamic than what Escape the Fate had, but it still ultimately utilizes Ronnie's strengths as a performer. And honestly, after listening to the first two songs, I really feel like this should have been the opener on the album. You're pulled into this song from minute one, and it doesn't really let up until we get to the chorus, which feels like this grand opening, this explosion of emotion that fits perfectly to the themes that we've been kind of setting up, this feeling of needing to run. That staggering beat makes you feel like you can't really escape, almost like you're running in a dream. So when he says running from my past, feet don't fail me now, it feels symbolically and thematically represented by the music that is being played under it. So then when we open up to I've lost my goddamn mind, it just feels like a desperate plea out into the world. The Drug in Me Is You isn't only the title track of this album, but it is the best song that I have heard off either of these albums thus far, thus earning spot number 3 on our playlist.
So lock and load, mercenaries.
And here it is, the flip side of that coin, The Guillotine, a 4.5-minute song about the video game series Halo, about Halo Combat Evolved, the great pinnacle series that was at the height of its powers in 2006. They are not shy about that Halo imagery. It's plain, it's on the fucking surface, it's right here. Lock and load, mercenaries, I see the smoke from the hilltop. We're gonna march one by one. If you've ever played Halo, you don't really march. You kind of just run. You just run in a direction, and then in the field, you have other Spartans with you. So by line number 7, it's fucking clear that, of course, this is Halo. Where else does the Covenant exist in popular culture at the time? This isn't the only Halo-themed metalcore song at the time. My Children, My Bride had Blam Headshot, though I believe that was more about capturing the feeling of a team deathmatch, where this is more of a commentary on the lore, on the story. We created the Covenant to fight the wars, and now they have turned on us. And the song itself is the heaviest fucking thing that Escape the Fate has even shown in any of their songs. This entire ending minute of the song is just like a guttural growl from Ronnie, just as long as his voice can retain sound, he's gonna scream until the end. It's a really satisfying metal-esque post-hardcore-ish song with just enough singing to offset the screaming and giving you a catchy enough chorus to enjoy it. If you don't really like the growlies, though, I completely understand if this was the one a lot of people skipped. I feel like a lady pregnant with a baby because I'm always throwing up. I'm glad that Ronnie's able to relate to women, relate to experiences that he is not able to have himself. He will never get birth, but he's trying to understand the troubles, the difficulties of being nauseous, of trying to provide for a life that is suctioning off your energy like a parasite inside of you. This is a fun song, sort of akin to The Guillotine, where it's all about the themes. I'm not a vampire, but I feel like one. That could have been the only line that Ronnie wrote down when he had the idea for this song. If none of the other lines alluded to like vampire stuff, it would have been totally fine, because that first one is strong enough, but we elaborate on it. Sometimes I sleep all day because I hate the sun. Light. My hands are always shaking, my body's always aching, and the dark is when I feed. Well, I can lure any woman that I want to my bed with me. You lure women to your bed on your Tinder profile, do you write, may I lure you? Women out there, do you want to be lured? I'm insane. I can feel it in my bones, coursing through my veins. When did I become so cold? Still staying on that vampire theme. For goodness sake, where is my self-control? If home is where the heart is, then my heart has lost all hope. Does that mean your home has lost all hope, or you've lost all hope of having a home? That's the only line that confuses me. I feel like the line should be something like, if home is where the heart is, then my home is blank, blank, blank. Because then that would translate to my heart is blank. If home is where my heart is, then my home is in a hole. vampire theme, coffin casket being buried in a hole. And then on the flip side, that also means that my heart is in a hole as well. Though I can feel her eyes judging me. I do like the line, "Daddy should never raise me on Black Sabbath." Cute, funny. He has clever lines. It's a good chorus. I'm insane. I can feel it in my bones. I like a little dancing snare they have in it more than the fucking heaviness, more than the raw heaviness from the guillotine. This was the one we listened to. We knew it. We played it when we wanted to feel heavy and tough. Like the theming and the lines written in "I'm Not a Vampire" are just so much more clever. I like the beat to it. I like the tone of it more. I think this song is stronger, and I'm gonna have to add it to our playlist, bringing us to a tie. I like how Ronnie has two modes. He has very sentimental, like, "My heart, I'm not who I am, I'm losing myself, I'm burdened by my past and the things I think." And the other mode is this very, like, sentimental, piano comes in, the guitars drop down. This one goes out to the ones that fall in love, into the cold that filled my dark. I would expect this kind of writing in like a much more sentimental band. The chorus is a little too simplistic, a little too easy on the rhymes there. Like, I don't know if "Reverse This Curse" is as good of a hook as Ronnie seems to think it is. "You stole my heart, but I had it first." What does that mean? What does that mean? I had my heart first? Well, are you gonna get it back, buddy? Are you gonna go get that thing? Because you don't got it now. You're not in possession of your heart currently, so why does it matter if you had it first? What is the truth, Ronnie? A deadly wish, but it should have come sooner. You want to kill this bitch? Is this a girl that you set on fire? Women, what are you gonna do? Can't live with them? Can't murder them? The TikTok song. This song feels so detached from the band themselves that I completely forget that Falling in Reverse are the ones that seen it. So this is kind of my first time listening to the song as a whole, taking the song in as it's meant to be, as the fifth track on this album. And the question Ronnie must know, the question that Ronnie is asking himself, nay, the universe: why do good girls like the bad guys? See, he's a bad boy. Ronnie, he's a bit of a bad boy. He's a rapscallion. He gets into trouble, a little bit of mischief. Maybe they're not good girls. Ronnie, maybe your perimeter of what a good girl is off. Maybe those girls aren't as good as innocent as you think they are, especially if she gave you the clap, the fucking clap. But there's no like irony in the lyrics. The lyrics aren't like, "I'm an asshole, why are you with me? I hurt you, I'm a bad person." It's not looking in on himself. It's not really being introspective. You've got a pep in your step. You live your life with no regret. How you look when you are wet is something I can't forget. I just want to kiss your lips, the ones between your hips. So cash in all my chips on you, then baby, I'll be rich. They are having sex. Like, that's what he wants from this woman. Those are his intentions. There's not much more to get from this. I have found that the chorus gets a little repetitive. It's a little repetitive, slightly obnoxious, and kind of gross. "Reverse This Curse" may not be my favorite off of "Dying." I like it better than that one. A little change of pace in this one. This is really when you start to see that Escape the Fate are a very versatile band. They will go from heavy, hard, loud, fast, poppy. In Celador, we find a more slowly paced song. I think of this one very similar to Cemetery Drive by My Chemical Romance, in that it changes the pace of the album and switches it up to something a little more thoughtful, a little darker, and something that pulls you into the music. Ronnie's really good at painting a picture. You can really see this scene, this image, this movie that he's playing for you. We walk through the doorway. I heard you calling from the hall to find you in the bedroom, not breathing at all. Now we are starting to love you more. Your body's on the canvas that I painted on the floor. Wait, is she dead when you guys are f***ing? Are you currently laying as the wax melts away and you kiss her face? Is this sad or sexy? Sad or sexy? It's hard to tell with Ronnie. If I could take you somewhere, I'd take you to the darkest place, scatter you in art forms, admire the whore. Why is she a whore? When did that happen? Oh, he's talking about like cutting her up. Literally scatter you in art forms, beauty in different ways. Your hands will be the picture frames, your eyes in the glass, and I will wear your face as a mask. This is a little darker than I thought it was, a little more fucked up. And it's so wrong because you're like not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to wear your lover's face as a mask. Pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone. Just pick up the fucking phone. Answer your goddamn texts. That's all he's asking for. He doesn't mean any disrespect. Except for, you know, whatever he did to start the fight. It can't be completely one-sided. This can't possibly just be another unhinged woman whose sole purpose in this world is to make your life a living hell. Ronnie's a little dramatic. At this point, I think it's safe to say that Ronnie is a little over-dramatic. Things are kind of do or die for him. It's either we're gonna stay together and die together, or I'm gonna fucking kill you. We can't break up. We can't live apart. I can't live without you. You can't live with me. What are we gonna do? And you have to kill these women. Why is killing them the only solution to your issues, your problems, to their problems, to your emotional needs and wants, desires, their issues, their whatever? I get the casual play, pretend, murder your ex because they're an asshole song. I've written plenty. It's the emo scene. It's how it goes. But when every single time you speak about relationships, this is a conclusion, then how are people supposed to think? It doesn't go as bombastic as some of the other courses, but I think it works within the more restrained song, and I like how he picks it up and switches the styling for the verse. We're still not quite to rap Ronnie yet. I just think it's fucking perfect here. I think it works really well with his voice. It's the right amount of instrumentation without being overly produced or overly poppy. Just as a concept and a song, I think this is much more fun and more enjoyable than Cellar Door. This is the second song from their No Sympathy for the Dead EP to make it onto Dying Is Your Latest Fashion, with the first one being The Guillotine. Sorta wish they put As You're Falling Down on the album, but that's neither here nor there. Two songs that have very similar qualities to them, just how the guitaring works, the drum works, and how the song is structured. It feels more like a classic Trivium metal song, and it also feels like a different quality. It feels like it was just written in a different space than the rest of these songs were written, but it is still highly effective. It is just a kick-ass song. It just feels a little out of place on the CD, but I can't deny that the song itself is still fully solid. Just the way he enunciates makes it so specific to this song. Like how he says, take this scripture like a picture and wear it around your neck. It just feels like a really good call out in the same way that like Taking Back Sunday would have those in their songs. In the same way that Taking Back Sunday puts those in their songs. It's that perfect emo bitchiness that just hits the teenage brain in just the right way, especially in 2006. This sound sounds audibly, distinctly like Escape the Fate, and it's kind of cool that Ronnie is able to write and tune his lyrics and his vocal quality to the structure of the song that they're performing. The screams work really well here, along with the singing. It's a heavy song. I like it a whole lot better than the guillotine. This one put me in a weird place. This sort of genuinely feels like the guillotine part 2. Not that one, but like Ronnie's guillotine part 2. Like its spiritual successor, you could say. The way that it opens, just how the guitar parts sound, the heaviness and the ending breakdowns, the structure of it. Not thematically, but it feels like it's just like it's there. I think it's about the bands. I made a deal with the devil after all the dust has settled. There's an hourglass of time, counting down all the lies and every grain of sand. Time is slipping through my hands. Oh, I sold my soul to rock and roll. I let my demons take control. Like, this is the thing I don't get. I sold my soul to rock and roll. So, like, I'm doomed to be drinking and drugs and being this up guy. But it's like, you can still be rock and roll and not be fucked up all the time. I think there's like clean punk bands. I think there's straight edge punk bands. Don't mess with Ouija boards cuz my spirit's torn. It sounds like, oh, we're talking about some demons, some dark shit. We're gonna do another playful, thematic song. You think it's gonna be another one of those by reading the title. But what it turns out is just kind of a petty song about how he is always searching for serenity. I'm trying to get better. I'm always standing at the edge of reality. I spill my heart out on stage. It's the only thing that makes me feel okay. Performing, singing is the only place I ever felt sane. It's the only time I feel like a person. There's No Sympathy for the Dead is not only a classic Escape the Fate song, but I would say just a classic emo scene song. Any Warped Tour compilation, I would say this is the Escape the Fate song that best illustrates their metal qualities and their poppier qualities. I don't know if it was the them screaming pain, the pain, pain, the pain, pain, the pain, pain, the pain. I don't know if that was the moment where I'm like, yeah, this one could probably stay off my iPod. It's just a slower one. Could just be me, but it's hard to take someone seriously after we spent 7 songs on a record singing about murdering ladies for being whores or annoying or whatever you think the lady is, murdering them, burying their bodies. I'm dark, I'm twisted, I'm fucked up. I like the girls who love to hate because they're just like me. After hearing all of that for like a half hour, it's a little hard to take a step back, let them get serious, let them get somber, let them bring the mood down, pulling out our half ironic lighters. And I appreciate the diversity that Escape the Fate gives us, but this one, My Apocalypse, just kind of flips it so quickly and so drastically that I don't like it at all. Especially right after There's No Sympathy for the Dead. Just doesn't leave an impression on me at all. So save your soul, because the tide is... I love that tough guy, bro-core breakdown shit. This has felt like the most modern Falling in Reverse song I have heard thus far. You know, what the band kind of is a meme for, this like trap, rap, hip hop, breakdown core, like crap that they put out sometimes, not all the time. And that's what I'm here to, you know, investigate, to see if that is the band, if that's what they are at their core, if that's who they want to fucking be. Already you're starting to hear the digitization and the vocals and the breakdown. It's not as metal soundy. It sounds almost like an Asking Alexandria song, if we're being honest, and that's not a compliment. That's kind of works here. It kind of works for me. It's definitely working for me better than My Apocalypse. Is that what the boring? This one's working for me though. What if the devil was a lie? What if God did not exist? So with all due respect, tell me, what is death if life is just a bitch? Ronnie, the scholar, the poet, the philosopher. What is death if life is just a bitch? I feel like they bring this type of concept up a little better in The Drug in Me and Is You. The drug, was it? The drug in me is you. Why are you in my locker? Ronnie, you're not in school. You're not in fucking high school. Did you even go to high school? Ronnie, it's sink or swim, hit or miss. What will you pick? So take some action. Don't let their undertow grab hold. Is he trying to be inspiring? Is it working? He's saying this world's corrupt. This world's gonna bring you down. They're gonna hurt you. They're gonna lie to you. They're gonna manipulate you. But you gotta sink or swim. You gotta do or die. You gotta hit or miss. You have to take command of your shit. He's specifically pissed at someone who betrayed him, but then he's also trying to be inspirational, trying to find his motivation. Regardless, I like this one a little more than the other one, that's for sure. I must have not have listened to the back half of this record at all, because I don't recognize these. For good reason, they're not as strong as the front half. This one seems to be a sad ode to friends, the friends specifically that were alibis. An alibi is someone that can vouch for your whereabouts. So friends who are alibis, when they get the call from the police and they're like,
Ronnie was with me. Nah, he's good. Totally sober, totally clean, not killing any ladies, definitely not buried under the bed, under the floorboards, or in the cellar. Don't check any of those places. Don't check the artwork.
boom, that's a friend. And that's a type of person that deserves their own song. And it feels like a good karaoke song in the end of the night. And we're all in the bar if that happens. I'm assuming. I've never been to a bar personally, but they always told me I was gorgeous in a way. And that fateful day, I found who I was. So fill this hole with my prescription. I just keep feeding my addictions. Oh, it's drugs. Oh, we're talking about drugs. He's in love with the drugs. That's the thing. So hold your head up high. Are the drugs the friends and alibis? Or is he saying you need friends and alibis to do drugs? I almost feel like Falling in Reverse is the result of a mixtape that someone gave Ronnie when he was in prison, and he was just listening to those songs and he was like, I'm gonna write my version of them. All these songs I have on here, I'm gonna do them. And I'm gonna do them Ronnie's way. Ronnie is the king of the scene, 'cause Ronnie doesn't have fucking hairs in his eyes. This one is the song that he wrote modeled off of My Chemical Romance's Mama. Mama is a mama or mother? That's Danzig. Mama is MCR. The horns, the guitar parts, the way he's kind of singing, flowing, and then he drops it for your standard Falling in Reverse chorus. That doesn't add anything to the song or the concept. Like, you're doing something different. You're doing something interesting to only build up to the same thing that we sort of been doing. I like the performance. I like the bitchiness. Where he's gonna fuck his girlfriend. Where is it? Where does he say it? When you die, I won't be at your wake. No eulogy from me, just a smile on my face. And while God may be busy with judging your soul, I will have slept with the girl that you love the most. You're going to hell, and you're gonna get judged for the shit that you've done in your life. Not like me, Ronnie, who will be the one person that you love and trust most in this world. And I will take petty bitchiness over broy, but it's not broy. I know it's about drugs. His drugs are the friends and alibis, but it can also be interpreted as like a friendship song. Also not my favorite, but I was digging it and getting in the fun of it more. This is a lame chick song with a boring chorus, fucking terrible guitar work, a horrible hook, and fucking just bland goddamn imagery is what I would say if I was a fucking dip. But this song is an absolute bopper. I never understood why it was their second single. The first couple of times you hear this song, it feels slow and it feels really fucking cheesy, especially compared to Situations, compared to The Guillotine, and compared to As You're Falling Down. You hear these songs and they're, you know, a little heavier, they're metaler. And you hear this, there's none of that. By this time in the album, it makes sense. We've already shifted the tone so much with Cellar Door and Friends and Alibis that this is actually a welcome change. It works a lot better here and it's more successful here because the concept and the emotion behind it feels so much more genuine. There are some really good callouts in here. So for now, take this down a notch, crash my car through your window, make sure you're still alive, just in time to kill you. He's gonna fucking drive his car through your window, get out of the car, make sure you're okay. Oh, you're still alive? Good. Now I can murder you. Now you can die. Seems like the waste of a good car. Sitting in this room playing Russian roulette, finger on the trigger to My Dear Juliet. He's killing a lady again, sure, but it's so over the top emo that it is gleefully welcomed. This is a guilty pleasure, I would say, if I were guilty of any wrongdoings. There is nothing wrong about this being your favorite Escape the Fate song, and there's nothing wrong about this being the best song in the world. I love Ronnie so much. I have not seen this since, I guess 2007, and boy, if we could go back. Give this one a shot. I really did. I'm not just gonna be completely playing to my biases. Of course, I want Falling in Reverse to give me an absolute killer fucking track. And Goodbye Graceful felt like it could have been that in the beginning when it came out was just the heaviest screaming, competent screaming that Ronnie has displayed so far. But for some reason, when we hit that chorus, it like, the way it snaps into it, Goodbye Graceful, pulls you in a weird way that ruined the flow. And I'm not just being petty. I genuinely wanted it to pull into the big grand Ronnie chorus, but it just didn't ever do that. And honestly, at this point in the album, I'm done with guitar solos. I've heard enough. I'm impressed. You guys can play your guitars quite well. They sound very nice, but is it special when it's every song? If we were doing different plugins, if we were doing different pedals, getting new sounds, then maybe I would understand. But fundamentally, they all sort of feel like they serve the same purpose, and I just don't have time for it anymore. So this is interesting. This is pretty fucking interesting if you ask me. That brings us to our last songs, and right now in the playlist, I swear I did not do this on purpose. I don't even pay attention to the playlist until we start getting towards the end. We have 5 Dine Is Your Latest Fashion songs and 5 The Drug in Me Is You songs. Which album will take the final slot? Which will be the dominating Ronnie album project band thing that he does? Let's finish it off well. Good. Make good music. It's really difficult if you didn't live through it to sort of explain what MySpace did for music, how MySpace presented music, and how music was shared. Every time you clicked on a profile, a song would start playing, or they would have a playlist of songs, or there'd be music on it. You would see images, you would see backgrounds or little text boxes. Every little piece of the profile could be customized to whatever you wanted. So these images and these things just became shorthands for your personality, for what you like. If you're a music person, then you try to shove in as many little music references as you can. You always try to kind of outdo one another with what song started playing when people clicked on your profile. You had your really heavy songs that just came off the bat with something metal and aggressive. Or you could pick, a really poppy singing song, a good A Day to Remember song. If you want to get the ladies, the sad little emo gothy ladies, you pick the acoustic track. You take that acoustic track, you have it start playing, and that way they know they like the sensitive songs. They like the intimate songs. The scene aesthetic, have you heard of them? Do you remember them? MySpace does it. It was the era of record an entire album through your MacBook microphone and upload it to your MySpace, becoming music legends. That was just like the social economy between us teenagers. So the day I left the womb, though it is incredibly genuine and incredibly interesting how Ronnie is talking to these other individuals in his life that have also, it sort of feels like filler when it is the very last song on the album. It almost feels like a bonus track, and it sort of takes a breath out of the ending. Like, we started this album off with such a good note, and we had great energy going throughout, almost like a good little like dynamic arc with peaks and valleys. To just end it on such a sorrowful, thoughtful note feels so weird in the context of 2021. I'm very curious on how Falling in Reverse will end their debut album. Could be literally anything.
I was born one morning in December on the coldest day, abandoned by my mother.
Okay, all right. So we hit a lot of the same notes as the day I left the womb, and Ronnie lays it all fucking out. He's like, I went to jail, I paid the price for your mistake. Tell the truth, I've been beaten, I've been bruised, I was left for dead as well. I was wrongfully accused, you left me locked inside a cell. If he was wrongfully accused, and I know nothing about the circumstances that led him to jail, I just know that he went to jail. I don't judge the man. This does feel like a good closer, good reflection of his thoughts of, I won't let you in. You know that I'm better in the end. Like, he's saying that he is better, that all these people that have wronged him, all these people that have hurt him, lied to him, said he's this or that, whatever, he is better and he has grown as a person, and the music is gonna survive because it died the day that I walked away. Beautiful. I love it. I love it that he can be humble and a cocky asshole at the same time. Perfect qualities in a lead singer. It's slightly unfortunate that the chorus wasn't a little more inspired. Ronnie seems to only have like one way of doing a chorus. You hold out the first note, then you say the line, hold out the second note, say the second line, then you do the A rhyme, then you do the B rhyme. And it becomes very transparent when you listen to the album as a whole that he just doesn't really have many ways of writing choruses. He's very creative when it comes to the verses. I like how he switches up the beats and the rhythms and the hooks. Like the last one, it has some horns, swing, kind of dancey vibes to it. And since this one just feels out of place as a closer and ends this album off on a somber but weird note, I think the Westerner covers what he was saying in The Day I Left the Womb, but adds a new dynamic to it while also just being a fun kick-ass song. With that, we come to the conclusion of our playlist, and it would seem that Falling in Reverse, with their debut album, The Drug in Me Is You, has etched out Escape the Fate's debut album, Dying Is Your Latest Fashion, by one song. I agree with the choices I made. These are all songs that I really enjoy, and I feel like this playlist kind of makes up for what I don't like in the albums as a whole. You want to listen to it all the way through, but you get to that back half and it just kind of starts dragging, or I feel like Falling in Reverse had a little trouble starting the album, but once they got into their groove, those songs turned out to be a lot stronger overall than Escape the Fate's strongest songs. But these Escape the Fate songs still absolutely hit as hard as they did back in the day, and I think they're essential for kind of understanding how music grew, how music changed within the scene. Escape the Fate feels like an essential piece of that. I'm giving things chances, and I think when you actually give something a genuine chance, you find the good in it. You see something new. You can find something you enjoy. So hopefully you learned something from this. I feel like I did. I have a new perspective on Falling in Reverse. This was a lot of fun. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What would you choose? What albums would you like to see? I'm Greyson Todd. Thank you for watching. Listen to some good shit. I'll catch you next time. See you on the flip side.